How you doing? I know it's been a while. It's been a while. A lot of things happened. I gotta catch up. But I'm coming to you live this morning. I just bought some breakfast. I had to get some breakfast for the fam. I hit 1,000 subscribers, y'all. I hit 1,000 subscribers. So first, I just want to say thank you because without you guys, this wouldn't be possible. It wouldn't be possible at all. Um, I'm just gonna give you a little timeline. Took me about 6 months to get there. Get here, I should say. Uh, yeah, man. It took about 6 months to get here, and it feels good, technically. Now, I did start this channel about 2 years ago, and I started in 2022, like January. But I didn't have the momentum. I just didn't feel the same drive and why that I have now, right? I had just came back, and I was like, I'm gonna take all the footage, put it out here. But it just wasn't something that I really wanted to do because I understand like just certain things like that I've learned along this journey. I realize it is what it is. So I'll get to that. Give me a second. But it took me, most importantly, it took me 6 months to get to. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. It took me 6 months to get to this point. Now, I say technically because I came in with about 200 subscribers. I started May 23rd this year, and I came in with 200, like 200, 200 subscribers. Let's say that. The first 200 came from 2 years ago when I started. I went from like maybe January to March. Not even, I would say February. And I just stopped, dropped cold turkey. I didn't upload. I may upload 1 or 2 videos within the 2 years after that, but I really didn't upload anything at all. So it was a dead channel. I had to revive it. So technically, if you count those 2 months and then these 6 months, technically it took me 8 months. But like if I would have continued with the momentum, maybe those 2 months would have been shrunk down to 1 more month, and I would have gotten it. So let's say I got here in a total of 7 years. 7 months. I mean, that's not pretty bad. I have seen channels. There's a guy named Hugo the Boss. Shout outs to you. We chopped it up a couple times. On YouTube, twice maybe. He in August when we first messaged each other. He messaged me first, and he had maybe, I don't know. I had around 600 subscribers. I think he had 200 subscribers. By the end of that month, he had 1,000. So everybody's journey is gonna be different. I want to make that completely clear. He got his partnership in a month, not just 1,000 subscribers, but his partnership. So it depends on how you doing, what you doing. But then I come to find out he already had like a following and like a thing he's been doing on Snapchat. This is just me kind of coming cold turkey. I just want to go over some of the things that I've learned actually. That's a good time. One thing I've learned is you always see these channels, channels. Where did that come from? You always see these channels that talk about, oh, I've hit YouTube partnership in 9 days just to prove it wasn't, like a lot of these channels that are doing these short time frames of getting partnership, they've already had experience. They likely already have another channel that's already successful. Even if they don't say, hey guys, go follow my other channel, they already have all the tools and the skills to sit there and say, you know what, I understand how to make a YouTube channel. I'm going to start over and do it. Their day 1,000 is your day 1, but you're comparing it to their new channel's day 1, even though them themselves is still on day 1,000. You can't compare the two. So that right there, I just want to like put some hope in the air for people that's trying to start a YouTube channel. Secondly, I'll say that everybody's journey, like I said, is different. Your niche is not going to be the same as my niche. And then even if we are in the same niche, I am not you, you are not me. Our approaches to this is going to be difficult. There's different. There's going to be certain subtleties that you do, that I do, that's going to either make you go further or, regress a little bit. Maybe not regress, but take a slower pace. But just remember, the tortoise beat the hare. That is one thing that I wanna like dignify. The tortoise beat the hare, and he beat him for a reason. Now, why am I saying that? Okay, so I have gone, to different places, and I've met certain people. I've met a bunch of people. Oh Lord, I've met a bunch of people, and pardon me, I got my notes here that I really just wanted to make sure I keep clear on everything, and the screen just shut off. But yeah, you wanna make sure. I've met. All right. Watch who you collaborate is the third thing that I'll say. Watch who you collaborate with. So I went overseas, and I'm gonna just try to like minimalize this. See, I don't know who I'm talking about. This is not a shade thing. I like that's not. I'm not putting my energy into that. I went overseas, and I met a dude who's not a big YouTuber in terms of subscriber count, but a pretty big, well-known YouTuber within the space. This guy right now has at least 10 different channels, and he's trying to make backups and backups and backups, and he's streaming over here, he's streaming over there, depending on what he's talking about. He's putting shorts up on this channel. He just has a bunch of it. But when you like add up all his subscribers, I don't even think it's like 6,000 subscribers. But before he did all of this, he had a previous channel that I think reached maybe 60K. Like he was a big known, maybe that's a lie, but he was well known. Let's say that, right? Within the streaming space, within the YouTube niche, he's well known with the YouTubers in it, right? And we kind of linked up. I was coming out the elevator. He was going into the elevator. He saw I had my camera in my hand, and then we just kind of chopped it up. While I was out there, we hung out. We went to the club, went to bars. It was alright. It was cool. He was cool people. But then I started seeing certain things written on the wall that it just wasn't me. So now there's a movement, if y'all don't know, called the Passport Bros. Now I just want to make it absolutely clear. I'm not a passport bro. When I understood, I'll be honest, before I started traveling, I was like, yo, I get their ideals, I understand their concepts, their point of view on life. What they are saying has some truth grounded in it. We can't deny that at all. Like, it'd be foolish to deny that. But then when I actually met some of them, and I met more than just him, I'm just thinking to myself, like, that's not really like the community I want to be a part of. I do want to travel. I like to have fun, but that's not why I'm traveling. And I remember something specifically that he told me. He was like, yo, we don't travel to see the world. We travel for the world. I'm like, no. Like, yes, the fun is the icing on the cake. But if I'm eating the cake just for the icing, I'm bugging. There's so much you can do. Meeting people, experiencing new things, the food, the things you can see. I don't know. It just wasn't my whatchamacallit. But I had already done 2 interviews on his channel before I came to this enlightenment, right? Then we kind of fell out, but we didn't fall out. I just kind of like distanced myself. I'm the kind of person where I just don't, if I'm not feeling your energy, even if I care about you, you know what I mean? Even if I care about you, if I just feel like it's not conducive to my mental health, I'm axing that. I'm 86 in that right away. 86 in that right away. It just is what it is. I'll be cordial with you if I see you in passing. Hey, what's good? But I'm just 86 in that right away. It's not conducive to my progress, right? And I started to see writing on the wall, and I realized, yo, this dude's not for me. I felt as though I was just becoming content for him. You know what I mean? Instead of it being genuine. And I could understand how a lot of relationships within this community as a whole, much less the smaller community of travel and mongering, as they say, could be based on content. I could see that. So I'm not even mad at that. But at the same time, it was like, okay, you smiling in my face and then try to, do stuff behind my back because I probably won't watch your stream. I don't know what, it doesn't matter. So it can easily be undercut. But one time I watched his stream, and that's when I started to see, okay, this is what he's about. And that's when I 86'd him. I was like, there's no point to having this at all. And you know, it is what it is. I have no shade towards no ill will towards him, but this is what I'm trying to get to say. Watch where you collaborate, because after I 86'd and it was clear that I was 86'ing him, about 2 months later he uploaded the second interview. He still has a third interview of me that he hasn't posted yet, so I'm looking to see, you know, when that's gonna happen or whatnot. Maybe around this time that I hit 1,000 subscribers. Who knows? I don't know if he still watches my channel. It's been 5 months since the last time we spoke, so it is what it is. But I noticed he posted that second interview of me, and I was adamant with him that I don't think I want to join the space, because I don't really, we don't have the same values. You know what I mean? I understand what passport bros mean, but like, that's not me. I want to climb the mountains. I want to pet tigers. I want to jump out of planes. Like, these are the things that I want to do. It has nothing to do with what you guys are doing. Don't get me wrong. I do, when I go to another country, I am scouring the YouTube space to see everything about that place before I go, and their videos will come up. It is what it is. I'm single. So if I go overseas and I want to date, that's just gonna happen. I'm a man. Just like how I'm over here, I'm single and I date, it's the same thing that's gonna happen over there. There's no change. So I have no shade towards the Passport Bros movement. But I'm not gonna be, there's another dude that I met on my last week while I was out there. And he was a military dude. He was about maybe 8 years older than me. I think he was like 8 years older than me, right? He's definitely in his 40s. And he we linked up. We was at this pool party, and he was telling me who he was. I was telling him who I was. We just kind of like vibe. That's what you do out there. When you're a solo traveler, you have no problem meeting people, because if you don't meet nobody, you're gonna be by yourself, and that gets pretty lonely sometimes. I like to be alone. I don't like to be lonely, if that makes sense. So then you got then you have then we're talking, and he has this view on life, and I kind of resonate with it. So we kind of like share contact, and he also shared me his YouTube page. He had 49 subscribers. This was July 10th. This was July 10th. He had 49 subscribers. At the end of August, he had 1,600 subscribers. And I'm looking, I'm just like, yo, like, the algorithm really don't like me. I'm gonna get back to the algorithm, by the way. The algorithm really don't like me. This is crazy. So, I have no ill will to it. I understand his journey is not my journey. I'm not gonna compare their outsides to my insides. It's just not gonna work that way. So I was just like, whatever, who cares? Then I go to his page, I see what his channel is about. And to me, I just feel like that's not something I want to be a part of. So, and that's why and then those two met, and they had, interview, they collabed with each other. I don't know if it was on each other's page, or if it was just on the guy that I first introduced to you guys, if it was just on his page, but either way, they collabed, right? So anyway, I went there, and I saw the stuff that he was posting. It is what it is. Fast forward to 2 months after August, I see the guy that I originally talked about post something, the second interview with me, and on the cover he slaps Pass Bros on it. And I'm like, this guy is he's really trying his best to put me in a box that I'm not. I don't like being in any boxes. Like, listen, let me tell you something. If I make it, when I make it, I told you I'm kicking the door into this YouTube space. I want to say that I had no letters on my chest, no numbers on my back, and no plantation to sponsor me. It was all me, and of course you guys, right? I'm very proudful like that. Like, even when I was in school, like, I never joined anything because I was always me. Like I never had a clique. You know, I've had my close friends. I don't count us as a clique, but I've never really had cliques. I was always able to bounce from here to this group to that group. Like that was just me. I was just cool with everybody, right? So you're not gonna put me in this box. But I noticed when I saw his channel, and it was at the time that I seen it, it had been posted 2 weeks before I had seen it for the first time. So I was just like, this is interesting, right? Now, I'll be honest, he did help me out. Some people were sent my way and a whole bunch of stuff. He gave me a couple subscribers. I doubt it was more than 50 because I can see the progress of him posting a video, and I could see the little spike that goes up. It might have been 5 subscribers, 6 subscribers. Maybe the views were a little higher, but they didn't like the content that I was following, so they didn't hit subscribe. But even then, whatever, you know what I mean? And I can definitely say, in the beginning, I started to use the clickbait that they use, but the content had nothing to do with the thumbnail. And those still to this day are my highest viewed videos. And I'm thinking to myself, so what if I put a girl in a bikini and make some twerking videos? My YouTube page will skyrocket crazy. Again, I don't want to be part of the problem. I'm not trying to be Pornhub Trigger. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be a Pornhub Trigger. It's just not what I want to do. It's not what I want to contribute to the earth, I just don't. That's not going to be me, right? So when I go on the military dude's page, that's all his content is. That's why he was able to get 1600 subscribers in a month, because literally all his content is basically softcore, you know what I'm about to say, corn, right? So it just wasn't me. I want people to come to my page and actually take some substance and leave. You know what I mean? Whether you're learning something about history, whether you're learning something about philosophy, or just some kind of self-improvement, or you're just learning about a different country. That's what I want my page to be about. Not the anatomy of a woman. Like, I don't like you like, there's so much content for that. And then that's when I started to realize, like, be careful who you collaborate with. Because at the end of the video, the second interview that he did, he's talking about no condom gang, and I'm just like, nah, that's not what I want to promote. That's not what I want to promote. Am I human? Do I make mistakes? Absolutely. But am I promoting that? Do I even live like that? No. It's just not. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So be careful who you collaborate. This is in the travel space, and that could be one thing. I'm talking about with anybody. You know, you already know, like, frenemies are more abundant than actual close friends, you know, actual genuine collaboration partners. Those things, most of the time, you're gonna meet somebody who's trying to snake you. So, and I'm not saying these people were trying to snake me. They were probably just voicing their opinion, but because they're content creators, they monetize their thoughts, and I just happened to be on his thoughts that day. It is what it is. But just be careful who you collaborate with, because your message, especially if they have a higher voice than you, that's what you're going to be known for. Because still, people will still contact me in certain ways on social media, thinking like, yo, why don't you put out some of the video? That's not what I want to do. That's not what I want to do. All right. Second, the fourth thing I want to say is just be you. Be you. This piggybacks and ties off the last thing I was just saying. Be you. Don't worry about what nobody else is doing. Don't worry about. Be you. The reason why I say this is because of the algorithm. Number 5. I'm not saying this is a top 10 list or anything like that. I'm just listing it off. I just happen to be at number 5 right now, right? The algorithm. You don't want to be a slave to the algorithm. The reason why I say this: you're chasing the views. If you're like me, you open up that YouTube analytics app maybe every 5 minutes, every 3 minutes if it's a bad day, every 7 minutes if it's a good day, and you're just trying to you're trying to watch a pot boil. That's all you're doing by opening that. The numbers ain't changing. Maybe your views will change, but the subscriber count is gonna go slow, especially in the beginning. And then meeting some of those people out there and understanding how their algorithm is set up, listen, they're losing and gaining subscribers every 5 minutes. They can open up the app every 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Because their analytics is literally volatile. In the beginning, not so much. You're not getting that in the beginning. So don't be a slave to the algorithm. Why I'm saying that? Because if you be you, if you get good enough at what you're doing, you're eventually going to pick up steam and people are going to watch. I have people watching my stuff. It's very small, but people do watch it. And I notice that I noticed that I have someone who likes my content as soon, like I'm talking about within an hour, there's already a like on it. But then I also have somebody that watches my content and is already a dislike within the first hour. So again, regardless if it's a bad person, a hater, or somebody that's good, they're watching your content. So if you get good at what you're doing, more people will follow. And guess what? I would even say, instead of being you, watch things that you would want to watch. Seriously, watch things that you would want to watch. The reason why I say this is because once you start creating something that you want to watch, then it becomes easier for you to keep that fire burning, because you're literally interested in the stuff that you're watching. And then you will slowly start to stop watching other people, and then you will just watch your content. I've already started seeing myself do that in certain areas, and it's like when I want to learn, like there's just certain things that I've already posted that I'm just like, nah, I'll watch this over anybody else's because I understand it from my point of view, and it's the brain food that I need because I curated it. You know what I mean? So I would definitely say be you, don't be a slave to the algorithm. But here's the reason why I say don't be a slave to the algorithm. If you pop off chasing the views and the subscribers and you happen to get something that sticks, but it happens to be something that you don't like, you're now stuck there. Because if you try to pivot, you're going to lose momentum, and then YouTube is going to realize, oh, we was giving him a chance, but I guess it was false. So now we're going to make him work even harder than he had to do. It is what it is. So, yeah, definitely don't be a slave to the algorithm, all right? Now, I also think the algorithm is a trap. Like, to me, I feel like your goal should be getting into YouTube search and getting into Google search. If you get into those two search, the algorithm does not matter. I have this one short. I talked about it on Thanksgiving with y'all. There's one short that is consistently getting views, the same amount of views every 2 days. It hovers between this and that, right? It doesn't change. And it started popping off maybe like 2-3 weeks ago. Still the same thing throughout these 3 weeks. That video has consistently stayed very high in the YouTube search, and it's changing the whole dynamic of my algorithm, my analytics. Those videos that's been doing that is important to me, because at the end of the day, it'll always be an arm pulling those people into my channel, giving basically every view. I see every view as an opportunity to gain a subscriber. That's just how I see it, right? And if I haven't done my job, then those viewers are not going to turn to subscribers, right? But then you also understand that a lot of people will be like, oh, 80% of you are watching my content and none of you subscribe, so hit that subscribe button. By the way, hit the subscribe button. Actually, hit the subscribe button, like this video if you like what you're hearing. Thank you, by the way. So there's just certain things that you don't want to be a slave to it, because then when you get stuck in a niche or a situation that you're not really feeling, now you have to stay there because it's working. And then all of a sudden you get your first check and you're like, all right, I have to stay this. But then creating content becomes a chore, and you may burn out a lot faster, and you may not have the momentum to keep going. Now it becomes a job instead of a lifestyle. YouTube should be a lifestyle, not a job. You know, you just should be living like that. Lifestyle should be at least 7 to 8 hours the first time when you're first starting, but it should be a lifestyle. It should just complement what you're already doing. Shouldn't be a chore. Now, if you want to do that, some people don't mind doing that, and by all means, good luck to you. You know what I mean? But for me, I just see YouTube as an extension of who you are, not the extension of the logo you want to represent. You're not just here as a farming tool for YouTube to put ads on your videos, and you just happen to get paid for it. You're not gonna be a farming tool for anybody. At least that's how I see it. I'm not gonna be a farming tool for anybody. So I'd rather create things that I like to watch. I'd rather take the slow progression, because I could put a bunch of, you know, women on my thumbnails and in bikinis and with some seductive photos, and the clicks will come through. It's really an indication of how starved and deprived men are today. That literally clickbait like that can just put you into the stratosphere. You know what I mean? But I just don't want to do stuff like that. I've even seen videos where they're like, oh, the funniest fails, or the 60-second don't laugh challenge, and they'll put a bunch of clips where you can't laugh for 60 seconds, but they'll put that one clip of a female, doing like a pose, a selfie, and they'll make that the thumbnail. But the rest is just and they can't call it clickbait because the video from the thumbnail is in the video. So the image from the thumbnail is in the video. So you can't no. It like, you can see that it's working. You can see that it's working, and it's just not something that, like I said, I don't want to be a part of. Now, I may use elements and techniques if it makes sense within the context. But other than that, I don't want to be that trigger. So don't be a slave to the algorithm, because then it will control you instead of you controlling it. You're supposed to use it as a tool, just like social media. Most people are doom scrolling because, well, they're slaves to their phone. But people that make money off their phone know that it's a tool. That's how you should do it. But if you work on your stuff, understand that your content will get better if you practice every day, just like anything else. And if you're good enough, people will watch. So just work on what you want to work on. And then today's advice is not yesterday's advice. I guess this is number 6. What worked in the past, it's not going to work today. Times are completely evolving. Now, I will say the core advice, your thumbnails, your titles, even that, the meta description don't even really matter no more. The tags that you put, YouTube will literally say on their policy that the hashtags don't matter. I think it does. And the reason why I think it does, I think it matters for Google search, because SEO. This is why I still will do that stuff. But people are telling you to, change the file name to the same thing as your title so that it all reads. And there's possibly some truth to that. You understand? It's gonna be that minimal. It's gonna be that minimal. YouTube can't walk and chew gum at the same time. It just can't. If you post a short, you post a long form video, and you post a live, your views are going to go down because it doesn't know how to promote all your things at once, even if you don't promote them at the same time or even the same day. Because sometimes you'll post a short, and usually shorts will pop off sometimes right away. Like within the next 15 minutes, you're already at 200 views on that short. With a long form content, it slowly progresses, but then usually day 6, it starts to go like this, right? Lives, it's hit or miss. I haven't really figured out the algorithm with lives yet, right? But each one of them has their thing that you can notice right away. And if you post, let's say you post a short today and it doesn't go off after 15 minutes, sometimes a day later it'll start to pop off. But what's the thing is that day later, if you post a long form content, now it was just about to hit momentum, then you posted this video. Now it's like, oh, well, what do I do now? Do I post? Do I promote this? Do I promote that? I don't know what to do. It is what it is. You know what? Forget him. We'll skip him right now, and then let's go do the other person. That's how it feels like the algorithm is. And just change algorithm with audience. Basically, think about the audience not being able to watch 2 screens at the same time. That makes more sense, right? Yeah. You think, well, algorithm, you hate AI and all this stuff. Well, it's a computer. It should be able to do that. No. Change the word algorithm with audience, and then tell yourself, can the audience generally watch 2 things and focus on it at the same time? That's the algorithm. Because ultimately, the algorithm is your audience. So, there's that, right? There are people that will sit there and say you have to do this, you have to do that. The things that work for a gaming channel is not going to work for a travel channel. That's not going to work for a blogging channel. That's not going to work for a tech channel, for a finance channel. Then you're looking at the way that the pay scale is broken down. If you're looking towards the future, for the very future, finance is going to pay the most. Then I think it's tech. They all have their hierarchy of CPC, cost per clicks, right? So you're gonna get higher or lower depending. You could have 50,000 views in finance and 50,000 views in, I don't know, makeup. You're gonna make more with the finance just because those companies obviously are in the finance industry. They're going to pay more to promote their stuff than, let's say, Sephora. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, women are a slave to the cosmetic of life. So it doesn't matter if you promote my stuff or not. A woman is always gonna look on social media, see another woman wearing this filter or wearing that dress, and she has this corset underneath her outfit, but you don't see it. So then you're starting to wonder, well, why are my curves not like hers? I need to beautify myself. They're gonna go to a makeup store. You have moms teaching little kids, teaching their daughters to wear makeup at like 4 or 5 years old. This is besides the point. I'm not trying to go there with that, but it is what it is. That is something that's always going to be there, so they don't need to pay more. But however, you need people to invest in stocks. Stocks are going to be something that people learn later on in life because they don't teach it in those indoctrination camps we call school. So those are things that you're going to have to subtly learn more. So they have to spend more to get more. But then when they get the platform, like when a person starts to learn it, they usually start off with like a platform like Robinhood or, you know, eStock, eTrader, or, you know, Webull and this, that, and the third. Those platforms make money off of the trades from the back end. That's why it's free to you technically. And then they'll put a subscription service. So they're still making more money off of the ad anyway. They need you to get aware to it because they understand how the system works. Makeup is just a part of life. So they need to pay more, if that makes sense. So today's advice is not yesterday's advice. Don't listen to everybody out there. In fact, again, I will always say, just be you. If there's a comment you don't want to I had an argument with somebody that was like, you have to comment on everything. Yes, it's good practice to comment on everything, but if you don't want to comment on it, it's your channel. Don't comment. You'll just grow slower. But if that's the way you want to be, then you're going to be authentically you when you finally pop off. Be you. Yesterday's advice is not today's advice, right? Everybody's journey is definitely different, and I will say that everybody's intent is different as well. So I want to go back to the algorithm is a slave trap analogy. I just picked up a new side gig. Again, if you've been following my journey on my lives, you will know that I'm now working at FedEx as a side job just until I do my next venture, which hopefully will be next couple of months. Stay tuned for that because that's going to be interesting. It's going to tie directly into this channel. But anyway, subscribe for more if you want to know what I'm talking about. But it is what it is. I digress. I'll leave that alone. As a FedEx, working at FedEx, there are usually, you know, there's management, there's the drivers, and then there's a facility staff, right? Now, I've always said, now that I'm there, I'm there a little bit over a month now. I'll tell you one thing. Let me tell you something. I don't understand these warehouse videos on YouTube that's talking about, oh, I quit, this, blah, blah. This is probably one of the most freeing side gigs I've ever had in my life. Like, when I leave the building, that is the end of work. It is not like retail or anything where you have to deal with customer service and interact. Like, none of that. There's literally no stress in you unless you make it stressful. There's no stress at these jobs. It is a plantation. I will 100% agree with that. But it is not any more stressful than you make it. And the reason why I say this is because all you have to do is mind your business, do your work, ain't nobody bothering you. You put your headphones on, do what you got to do. 6 hours, 7 hours later, you get out, you clock out, and you home. Now you just doing what you got to do. Ain't nobody calling you on your phone saying, hey, Can you update the website? Where's the spreadsheet? Hey, where's the presentation that you created? There's none of that. And I've already worked in corporate. I've worked in retail. I've worked in the nightlife. I've worked in freelance. I've tried a plethora of different industries. I worked in hospitality. This is like the most freeing one. It is overwhelming, but it is a very easy job. I'll tell you that. I just don't get it. I don't get it. And the complaints that I hear on the job, I feel like those are just first world problems. You're bugging. Like, really, that's what you complaining about? And then you hear it every single day from the same people. This is what it is, what it is. It's like, yo, dude, like, listen, there's worse in life. Chill out. Anyway, so there's an incentive on the job. Once you prove yourself in the facility, unless you come in as a driver, that's different. But once you prove yourself in the facility, because as easy as the job is, there's just a lot of people that look at life to make that job harder, which will make their production seem lackluster, right? I'm not going to diss nobody, so I'm going to say that. It'll make their production seem lackluster. They're just not reliable. They just come there and they don't know how to really just get the job done. Get the mission complete. You know what I mean? They don't know how to do that. So they are going to sit there and just really lollygag. Quite frankly, they're gonna lollygag. They don't know how to game it. They don't know how to game the system. I'm not saying I'm the best. I've only been there a month, but I can tell you I know basically damn near everything. I haven't mastered it, but I'd say I'm definitely past intermediate level. Like, I am running laps around those people. And again, I'm not trying to pat my, I'm not trying to do that. It is not thing, but I can tell you that literally I know if it wasn't for me and another person, the core people that work there, they would have problems on their hands, and they've acknowledged it in many ways. So I know what I'm not saying is hyperbole. Like, I'm just using this as an example, not an attempt to big myself up or anything. Using it as an example. So when you start showing promise, they want to put you into certain positions. The driver, or the courier as we call it, or what y'all know as the delivery drivers, they make the most at the ground level in the industry. I personally think that the facility should make a lot more, because without the facility, nothing is working in the entire company. Like, nothing's working. Yes, it is replaceable, but you're going to have a lot of mess ups along the way if you don't get somebody who is sufficient enough to handle the job, right? But then the second in line, and I'd argue, I can see if somebody argues that the drivers are just as important as the facility. I can see that. But I would say in second line is the couriers. Now, the couriers make more, well, at least initially, they'll make more. You'll get bumped up to their minimum wage, or should I say their sharecropping price. They'll get bumped up to a different sharecropping price. And because you hear that, you'll automatically jump to it. You're like, oh, I'm making more money? Word, and I get more hours? Man, sign me up. They have the most stressful job in the industry, at the ground level. They have the most stressful job at the ground level, because depending on what you work for, I know my company, so I'll just say it from that point of view. We're based on time. So we promise, if we're going to get there by 10 o'clock, if we say a package is going to get there by 10 o'clock, it has to be there by 10 o'clock. If the package has to be there by 12, the package has to be there by 12. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, or you get written up somehow, unless you can prove that it just wasn't your fault, right? Other companies, they favor other things. So to me, again, you're going around during rush hour, during times that school kids, like, the traffic is ridiculous. And then depending on where you are within, again, I'm from New York, depending on where you are, I can tell you right now, you're in Brooklyn, you're going to have a hard time, a stressful time leaving the facility at 9, trying to get to a bunch of places before 10 o'clock. But I digress, right? So the incentive is to say, hey, here's more money. But then you get a more stressful job. That is the YouTube algorithm. Hey, your audience is saying they really like this. So if you start pushing this, it'll be quicker for you to get monetized. And if you're already monetized, you'll get more money. So you start chasing that. But then now you're chasing that high, chasing that high, chasing that high. And now you're stuck into, you've made so many videos where you're now stuck into a niche you don't want to be in. Because it's stressful. Be you. Enjoy the journey. Thank you for my 1,000 subscribers. I really appreciate y'all. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you like the concept of where this is going, if you watch my channel, hit that subscribe button, because I'm telling you, I'm not stopping this. I've never had more fulfillment in my life than making one of these. And I'm telling you, I really believe everybody should be on YouTube. Make a YouTube channel, even if you use it as a journal. It's my journal. I just make it public so y'all can watch. But you will have something to leave later on in life for your family, your legacy, people. Like I always say that. Okay, there's this phrase this saying that used to happen before. They say, if you want to leave a legacy behind, if you want to be remembered, you have to do 3 things. Originally, it was you had to plant a tree. Then it became you have to have a child. And then after that, it was you need to write a book. Well, in 2024, I'm sure there's other things that can be applied to it. But in 2024, I think the 4th one should be you should have a YouTube channel. Period. Internet ain't going nowhere. Even if, like, they say this Project Bluebeam stuff is real and the internet wipes out and we go back to the Stone Age for as long as, you know, the cough situation that happened 4 years ago. Whereas like 2 months without any internet, you ain't got no money, you ain't got no nothing, this, that, and the third. And now because people can't watch this stuff, you're flabbergasted. Whatever. I doubt that will be possible around the world. I really do. But anything's possible. Anything's possible, right? Even if that stuff happens, servers are saved, data is saved, it'll come back on. You think life is just gonna forever be Fallout? No, it's not. This isn't 28 years later. Like, I want to see that movie, actually. That looked pretty good. This is not 28 years later. So everything that you leave online, and if that's the case, then you can look back to World War II times, to where there was a guy that wore a red bandana around his arm who used to book burn. If you were talking about writing books, it's the same concept. So let's not talk about it. Create a YouTube channel, get on platform, and I will sit there and say it's the best platform by far. It's not as toxic as TikTok or social media. You can get your clickbaity stuff. Yes, you can get your softcore corn, as I just talked about. But at the end of the day, a lot of the stuff to me is very insightful, it's very productive, it's very, in fact, I would argue it's the reason why the election went the way it went this year. So get on YouTube, do what you gotta do. It's your boy Chris Jack, Canvas Nomad here. Like, comment, subscribe. And if you made it this far in the video, if you've learned anything from this video, you, my friend, are certainly appreciated. It only starts with one. Peace.